the north position of his base and just let them pick off the gold miners, and just completely ignored the fact that because his towers are all on the south side and they're well placed against a ground army, but they'll do nothing against my Verns in the back of his base. Again, this is what he's doing right now to my gold miners with Bash and Bolt. Just take them out. Wise move on his part. Not too much I can do about it. I mean, I'm going to force him to get out, but short of having a burrow there, which I'll put up shortly, or a tower, those are going to die. Anyways. So again, you'll notice I'm rebuilding some woodworkers, and I hired a goblin shredder. I'm deficient on wood. I now have a war mill. And because I've chosen to go with the lodge, I don't even know if I get bloodlust in this game, but obviously that's going to cost me a lot of wood. I left my Verns in his base. I probably could have been creeping with the Shadow Hunter, or even just taken out, maybe started training raiders and just taken out a few more buildings, those farms for example, which are really the only things that are still helping him, those 3 farms. But I choose to creep. If you can get the level 5 Shadow Hunter at the level 3 healing wave, that's sort of a goal. The Blade Master's not so useful versus this mass air stuff, so it's not really relevant that he's there creeping. But I know that he doesn't really have an army at this point, so it's totally fine for me to be creeping. It'd have been better, I guess, if I'd had the Blade Master keeping tabs on the Mountain King. And I'm looking at this game from my point of view and saying, why wasn't I doing that at this point? But regardless, the next thing I do is I send. I want a second expansion, and I want it in a place that it's not going to be harassed by this Mountain King. And I think the correct place for that is this mine that I'm creeping out now. So eventually I'm going to go back here with the tiny Great Hall, I think. Anyways, Boots of Speed. Pretty bad drop. I already had them on my blade, and I mean they're nice in your Shadow Hunter because you can continuously hex. Even I think the Mountain King for sure has Boots of Speed at this point. Yeah, he does. Like I said, very important if you use the Mountain King. So I guess you can keep up hexing him if you're going to be in that situation, but regardless. I have 1,200 gold banked, and tier 3, pretty safe. I don't even think I bothered with Bloodlust. I guess I forgot I built the lounge, but I'm not worried about this game at this point. I mean, you'll notice I'm building a tower at his gold mine. That's pretty much to make sure he doesn't rebuild there. I should have built it a little further back so he doesn't see it, but anyway. Mountain King kill, that's great. He can't fight me without that Mountain King, that's for sure. He'll probably tavern it at some point. Yeah, the smart thing to do would be to tavern it. And he has the gold for it, but if you look at his gold, 38 for 48 food. Now he has no gold because he just taverned it. You know, he's just too far behind income-wise, and he doesn't have the expansions that would support the army he has, whereas I do. You'll notice I bought the tiny Great Hall with the Blade Master. Windwalk him over to this mine that I can pretty much safely assume Heapstar will never scout, or Fox Queen will never scout, and that's where I'm going to counter expand. So nice drops here. I get a Tome of Experience on the Shadow Hunter. Don't let that Vern die, and a St0p mask. I love having the St0p mask. Better manage regeneration on a hero that has a great mana-intensive spell like Healing Wave, but doesn't have a Brilliance Aura or a lot of intelligence because he's an agility hero. Good drop, definitely. So by now I'm sure he's trying to get his main gold mine back, because I saw him with my scout tower, which he eventually killed. There's 7,000 gold in the mine, so it's definitely still worth it for him to expand there. And obviously plenty of towers going up. If those all go up, I really cannot fight those towers and his army, which isn't a huge deal because I already have my second expansion up, so you know, I'll still have an expansion advantage over him, or a gold income advantage over him. I'm not too worried about that. But it is, if I can get in there before they all go up, it's actually probably a good game right there. And if you're looking at the length of the replay left over, then yeah, chances are I'm going to win this game pretty soon. So again, Focus Fire, I hexed one of the Dragonhawks just because that's one less thing that can shackle. I think his mistake here was fighting out of range of those towers in the back. But regardless, if he'd backed up a little bit more before shackling, he would have been in better shape. Detonate what I can. I mean, at this point, I killed his entire army, but you're going to see me lose most of my burns to creeps. Or, sorry, to towers. But I do take down the Mountain King. And this is pretty much a good game. I mean, this one expansion you can't rebuild fast enough to come back. And even just my heroes are enough to take down these towers. So that's good on my part. Obviously, I don't recommend always doing this. If these towers had been in better position, this strategy probably would not have... I mean, it's not that it would have failed. I wouldn't have lost necessarily. But I wouldn't have been able to gain the advantage that I gained just by pushing his base like that. So, something to be aware of. I do finally have Bloodlust. That's great. He says, good game. Again, take-home lesson. Exploit whatever advantages you see or that come up within the course of the game. I noticed that his base wasn't particularly secured. I delayed his expansion well. It was Swiss Meadows, so it was already inherently delayed, and the Vern push worked. So get game 5 uploaded. 1 minute mark, 1x speed. This is also versus Queen. This is also my playing, so you can hear my comments and thoughts. This is an entirely different way of playing versus this strategy. And it's actually one that I really enjoy doing, this particular strategy. I'm taking it. I recently saw H2O Pride do it. He's a pretty good orc player. Before him, Grubby's done it a few times for his SKMU. I really have no idea where the strategy comes from, to be honest. It's not a very brand new strategy, but it's definitely very effective. So again, 1 minute mark, 1x speed, Fog of War off. This is Echo Isles, so I'm just going to talk quickly. Again, very easy expansion. It's close to his base, very easy to creep out, very easy to get the towers up, very hard to stop. And also securing that expansion pretty much secures the Murloc Nightcrawler camp and the Gargantuan Sea Turtle camp. It's very hard for the Orc to just kind of steal those creeps. Not to mention the Tide Runner and the Mercenary camp creeps are pretty much already on the human side. So once you have towers up at your main and at that expansion, it's not likely that the Orc's going to be able to steal those creeps, which means he really only has main creep camps, his Merc camp, the Gold Mine, the shop, and the marketplace, and of course his Gargantuan Sea Turtle group. And that may seem like a lot, but that does not support a tri-hero strategy. And it doesn't even give you really enough of an advantage experience-wise to fight versus his mass air. I mean, really, 3-3 versus 3-1. 3-3 is what you'd get if you crept all of those mainly, I would assume, 3-3 heroes, versus 3-1, which is what he's just going to get naturally. Not to your advantage, not at all. You need to have significant either army advantage or positioning advantage or whatever to be able to win that fight. So I really don't like being put in that position. I've lost a few times because of it, where really there's just because of the map, there's a limit to the strategies you can execute. So that's all in my mind as I start this game up. So let's get this game unpaused in 3, 2, 1, unpause. He says good luck. He's a very mannered player, by the way. I really enjoy playing against him. Azeroth has a lot of, other than just hackers who are by definition bad-mannered, we have a lot of trash talkers and things like that, so it's really good to play against someone who's consistently mannered no matter win or lose, and I've definitely lost my fair share of games versus him too. So that's nice. Spirit of competition and all. Again, Scout Peon going up across the map, really essential, again, to know what hero he's gone. And if he'd gone Archmage, I would put that Peon south and just to check to see if he was going to militia creep the Renegade Wizard camp quickly. That's usually in my thoughts when I'm versus human. I want to know if he's going to power creep or if he's going to try and sneak creeps in. Obviously, if he power creeps, you need to be in his base faster. Again, looking at my base, aggressive burrow placement. The Voodoo Lounge is considerably south of the barracks. That's to leave a space between the second burrow and the Voodoo Lounge, which will be for demolishers in case I'm tower rushed. Once again, not really concerned about a tower rush. He again chases, this is really intelligent on his part, he chases that peon with 1 footman. He doesn't need that 1 footman to creep. It's really not going to make a significant difference if he has 12 to 13 extra damage. It does give him an extra 25 experience, but it doesn't let me build an aggressive Voodoo Lounge. If I had chosen to do that, I wasn't even thinking about that at the time. But if I had chosen to build an aggressive Voodoo Lounge, it wouldn't let me do it, so like the Twisted Meadow game, I couldn't build the Voodoo Lounge because he chased. And it wasn't an accident, it's intentional on his part, and it's a very good move. We both get Claws, pretty good drop. Claws on the Mountain King.